There's this specific frustration that every single developer, every creator has felt over the last couple of years. You're working with AI, you're in the zone, it feels like magic. And then, it just stops. You hit this invisible wall.
I'm talking about that copy-paste loop. You know what I mean, right? The AI gives you some code, you run it, boom, an error. So you copy the error message, paste it back in. The AI says, oops, my bad, and gives you a new snippet. And the cycle just starts all over again. You're not really creating anymore, are you? You're just stuck.
Well, that frustrating loop, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Welcome back to Let's Decode Together. This is the channel where we believe understanding beats trends every single time. We slow things down to give you the mental models you actually need to understand how this stuff really works. So if you've been with us, you know we've already decoded the AI's memory. That was the context window. And we talked about the creative workflow in our explainer on Vibe Coding. But today we are tearing down that copy-paste wall for good. We're going to look at the technology that makes that possible. Because today, we decode agentic coding. And this is a huge shift in thinking. It's the moment the AI stops being a tool that you use and starts becoming a worker that you manage. So let's really get into what that means. All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with a whole new mental model. I call it the intern versus the encyclopedia. Then we'll pop the hood and see exactly how the agent's loop works. After that, we'll figure out what this means for our role. Are we a director or a supervisor now? And finally, we'll take a peek at the autonomous future this is all leading to.
Okay, so first things first. To really get what agentic coding is all about, you have to shift how you think about AI. Seriously, we have to stop seeing it as just a really fast chatbot. It's not that. We're talking about a completely different kind of system here.
So here's the absolute key difference. A standard AI, like a chatbot, it's a predictor. You give it some words and it just predicts the next best word to come after. It's totally passive. It just sits there waiting for you. But an AI agent, that's a whole different ballgame. It's a system. It's active. You give it a goal and it can actually take actions all on its own to try and get there.
You know what? Here's the best analogy I found. Think of a normal chatbot as this brilliant, know-it-all encyclopedia. You ask it a question, you get a fantastic, well-written answer. But an agent is more like a really smart intern. You don't ask an intern questions, you give them jobs to do. And that one little distinction, it changes everything about how we talk to the AI. When we were vibe coding, we gave an instruction, right? Write a Python script to scrape this website. We were basically just asking for a block of text. But with agentic coding, we give an objective. Find the top 10 competitors in this market and save them to a CSV file. See the difference? We're not asking for code anymore. We're asking for a final result.
Okay, so the big question is, how? How does an agent actually do this? How does it go from a big, vague goal all the way to a finished product? Well, the answer is a process that developers call the loop. So let's go inside and see how it works.
This little four-step loop is basically the engine that makes the whole thing run. It's perception, planning, action, and reflection. Think of it as this constant cycle of, well, thinking, doing, and then learning from what it just did. It's what allows it to work all by itself. So it all kicks off with perception and planning. The agent reads your goal, but, and this is so important, it doesn't just start spitting out code. No. First, it just thinks. It breaks your big goal down into a little checklist, you know? It's like it's saying to itself, okay, first I gotta browse the web. Then I need to find the right data. Then I'll write a script to pull it out.
All right, step 3 is action. And honestly, this is the real game changer because agents have access to tools. This is the whole secret sauce. They don't just talk, they do. I mean, they can literally run terminal commands, browse the actual live internet, read and write files on your computer. It's like we've given them hands. But you know, maybe the most incredible step is the last one, reflection. This is what separates an agent from just being a fancy script runner. After it takes an action, it actually looks at what happened. Did it work? Did it throw an error? And if it messed up, it can actually recognize that it made a mistake, and it feeds that learning back into the loop to try a different plan. It actually self-corrects. That's huge.
So, okay, we've got this cool autonomous loop. But so what? Why does this actually matter for us, for the humans in the loop? Well, it matters because it completely changes our job. It shifts our role from being a director to being a supervisor.
Just think about what a massive shift this is. In vibe coding, you were the director, right? You were the one running the code, you were the one finding the bugs. the AI's autonomy was pretty low. But with agentic coding, you become the supervisor. Now, the AI's autonomy is high. It's using the tools. It's even trying to find and fix its own bugs. Your entire role, your whole responsibility, it just flips.
Let's look at a real-world example to make this less abstract. Researchers at Google made this agent called Jules. They gave it a pretty gnarly task: integrate a new API into an existing project. And just look at what it did, completely on its own. It cloned the project's code. It figured out exactly which files it needed to change. It wrote the new code. It even updated the documentation. And then it neatly packaged the whole thing up for a human to review. I mean, that entire complex workflow handled from start to finish.
So when you see something like that, it naturally makes you think about the future, right? I mean, what does work even look like when we have partners this capable and this autonomous? The thing is, this isn't really about replacement. It's about a totally new kind of partnership.
Because the real power here isn't choosing vibe coding or agentic coding. It's not a choice. The future is about building a team. You can easily imagine a workflow where you use vibe coding for that initial messy, creative part. You brainstorm, you get a prototype going, and then you hand that prototype off to an agent to do all the heavy lifting, building it out, writing the tests, handling the deployment. It's all about using the right team member for the right job.
And that leaves us with a pretty wild thought, doesn't it? As these agents get more and more capable, could we actually see a future where, say, a visionary human CEO sets the company's direction and an AI agent acts as the chief technology officer, managing the entire technical side of things to make that vision a reality? The line between who manages and who executes is blurring way faster than any of us thought.
So let's bring it all home with our calm takeaway. The job of a developer, of any creator, it is not disappearing, but it is absolutely evolving. The focus is shifting. It's moving away from meticulously laying every single brick by hand, and it's moving towards becoming the architect who designs the blueprint and supervises the whole construction. Your value is moving up the stack, from doing the work to defining the work that needs to be done.
So as we all try to navigate this new world, I really want to know what's on your mind. If this helps you get that new mental model locked in, tell me, what complex topic should we decode together next? Drop your ideas in the comments below. As always, thanks for decoding with us.